just in case you've been living under a rock for the past, I don't know, 6 months at least, the Nintendo Switch is the latest video game console from Nintendo. It is a hybrid home console and handheld portable console tablet thing. It's quite unique as a piece of hardware, and it launched back in March of this year, 2017, early March, and ever since then they have been rather difficult to find. The precise difficulty of acquiring one depends on where you're located, and I've heard that now, finally, we are approaching the end of June, supply is starting to catch up to demand in many places, and now you can find them in stock in some areas pretty regularly. But here, where I live, in British Columbia, Canada, they are still a highly sought after item, and I have been searching to no avail for months now after missing out on the pre-orders, because I just wasn't quick enough off the mark. But finally, I lucked out today and managed to find one. It was the only one in the store, and I just happened to come in at the right time. And within 5 minutes of me arriving there, asking for it, I was at the checkout, paying, and another fellow walks up and says, "Hey, you got any Switches?" And they point to this one and they say, "We just sold the last one of this shipment." So, but luckily for me, it was in the color that I desired, the gray color, or shade, I guess, if you're being really pedantic. And of course, I also needed to pick up a game to go with it. So I grabbed, what else but Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is the critically acclaimed Zelda game that launched with the Switch, that everyone seems to love so much, and I am really looking forward to checking it out. And I will be doing videos with Breath of the Wild in the coming weeks. Don't you worry. But for tonight, we are unboxing the Switch. So let's get on with that, shall we? Nintendo. Now the Switch is a fairly important console for Nintendo, because their last console endeavor, the Wii U, did not sell nearly as well as they would have liked. And so they need to hit a home run with the Switch. Now, if the lack of availability thus far has been any indicator, they are doing quite well selling through these units. But it could also be a supply issue, because Nintendo has long been notoriously awful at meeting demand with supply. They would rather underproduce and sell through controllers and be sitting on a bunch of units. That seems to have always been their strategy, as far as I know. So here you can see the most novel aspect of the Switch, which is that you have your tablet item with the screen and all the internals, and then these removable controllers called Joy-Cons, which slide on and off each side, which we'll see shortly. Okay, so I'm going to try and hold this lid down back here so that we can you can see everything as I'm pulling it out. So the Switch tablet itself, with all the hardware inside, 2 Joy-Con controllers. Let's pull out the Joy-Cons first. So this would be the right Joy-Con. With the plus button, the face buttons A, B, X, Y, and this little joystick, as well as a home button. Oh, and of course the shoulder buttons. Maybe I can be on your left side as I say that. This funny little split up D-pad they've got going on. Okay, so what do we have here? So this is the Joy-Con grip, and if you want to dock your Switch in the included dock, which we'll see in a moment, and then sit on your couch and use a traditional controller or something that approximates it, you slot the Joy-Cons in on this Switch grip, or a Joy-Con grip, I should say. And that allows you to use it like a more traditional home console. So this is just a dumb piece of plastic, basically. I don't think it does anything in particular. Maybe you can charge the grip with it, or charge the Joy-Cons, but or maybe not even that, actually. It's got a kind of a matte plastic finish. The slots for the Joy-Cons are glossy. Okay, so this is, well, I'll pull it out of the bag here, you'll see. There. Okay, so this affixes to the Joy-Con, and this is obviously a wrist strap, and this allows the Joy-Con, each individual Joy-Con, to have its own little shoulder buttons, and makes it a little bigger so that if you're playing a two-player game where each person has one Joy-Con, it's a little less hand crampy, a little less unbearable. So this little rail just slides onto the Joy-Con. I do like the sound of these little button extenders. Same thing, other side, of course. This is an HDMI cable for the dock, so you can plug the dock into your TV. Nothing fancy, just a cable, but it's nice that they include it because they didn't have to. plastic because it's just a power adapter. But anyway, there it is. Okay, so over here on the left must be the dock. These are just some first time setup instructions, that kind of thing, by the looks of it. Getting started, health and safety warnings, that kind of stuff, you know. The usual junk. And here, in the bubble wrap, is the dock. So, here's the dock. There's not much to say about the dock. Again, it's kind of a dumb chunk of plastic, in that all of the hardware that runs the games exists in the tablet item itself, the Switch itself. This simply receives the Switch, and it just plugs in via I guess USB-C down on the bottom of the dock there, and then the dock plugs into your TV with the included HDMI cable and into the wall with that AC adapter, and that's it. It just powers the Switch in docked mode and carries the video out to the TV. And that is all that we have in the box. So let's take a closer look at the Switch itself now. So here is the Switch tablet. Once again, you can see this is the back of it. It's got a kickstand down here somewhere, which there is actually a very flimsy little thing. It's just like a little piece of plastic, but in theory, it's up to the task of keeping the Switch upright on a tabletop like this. I don't know how durable it is in the long term, but as it makes a worrisome noise. But I don't expect that I or many others will use it in this configuration that frequently, because usually you're either going to be holding it with the Joy-Cons on either side or docking it in the dock we just saw earlier there. there. Actually, I don't think that's what they are. I think those are probably speakers. But I could be wrong. I don't know. But in the top, we certainly do have a heat exhaust vent. And this is actively cooled. There's a small fan in there. I've watched a tear down. So that takes heat away from the NVIDIA Tegra processor, which is based on last gen Maxwell tech, so it does get a little bit toasty. And you can maybe even see I'm losing the focus here. Is that fireworks? Sounded like there were fireworks outside. Anyway, you can see maybe in there the heatsink, copper heatsink fins. So else, otherwise on the top we've got game card slot right there, headphone jack, cooling vents like I said, and over here it looks like a volume rocker. And power button. If we flip it around to look at the bottom, we've got, if it wants to focus, there, USB 3C port, which it uses to dock or to charge, I suppose, if it's undocked but plugged in. And I don't know what these little things are, truth be told. They don't look like anything. I think they're part of the docking mechanism. That's all. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it really sounds like fireworks outside. I have no idea why it would be. There's nothing going on today. It's no special occasion, but who knows? And then on the front, yeah, of course, that, I believe it's a 7-inch diagonal 720p screen, which evidently is actually quite nice, despite a somewhat low resolution for this day and age. It's quite sharp, apparently, and colorful, and really, you wouldn't want it any higher resolution than that anyway, because it would make it, oh, come on, focus, it would make it impossible for the hardware in this thing to drive games at a decent clip, so. Okay, so let's see about putting these Joy-Cons on. It's my understanding that they slide on. And lock into place. Very nice. So this is the whole beastie. Like so. And it feels nice, like it feels quite dense. I wouldn't say heavy to the point of being like fatiguing, but certainly weighty, in that it's a quality item. It's dense. It also feels quite wide, I won't lie. It feels pretty big for a handheld, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how this screen feels in the handheld configuration. I bet you it feels absolutely this thing. I'm curious how that works, what it feels like. So let's bring over, oops, the dock. And I assume that I can just go like, I guess that's it. It appears to be resting relatively securely in the dock, I guess. And of course, one would take the Joy-Cons off now. So each Joy-Con has a little lock button on it. Right there. I think that's what you press to release the mechanism that allows it to slide off. much like with Skyrim, although we'll see if I carry it on or if it's just like a couple of things, a couple of videos. We'll see. That's all up to you guys.